Hello, my name is Kumbel Good. I am the National Grants Officer at the International Organization for Migration. And in this video, we'll be discussing the Standing for Youth Initiative Cash Grant and how you as a beneficiary has access to this grant. To go through this, simply project a presentation, a slide, and hopefully this can help us all go through the requirements that are needed for you as a participant to have access to this grant. And just before we get started, I simply want to mention that at the beginning of this program, the International Organization for Migration actually did a needs assessment to understand exactly what it is that a micro business owner, a small business owner, or somebody with a business idea, what exactly would they need from a typical training? And things that popped up were always coaching and access to grants, access to financing. And this is why this program has been developed in such a way. Now, as part of this, one thing that most of those interviewed mentioned is the fact that for a business to grow, especially in the Gambia, individuals need access to grants. They need access to financing for them to grow from one level of their business to another. And this is why the program was developed in such a way. Now, in this presentation, what we'll do is to get a better understanding of what exactly is a cash grant and how you as a participant has access to it, what you need to be eligible for it, all the requirements that IOM expects from you, and how exactly you can hopefully grow your business through this training. So we'll just go through our slide. And the first is basically the objective of the program. So the first objective, of course, is to understand what is a cash grant. I know we've been mentioning cash grant from week 1 to this point, so we would want to all be on the same plane and understand exactly what we mean by cash grant. We'd also go further to define the requirements for accessing this cash grant. Now, firstly, cash grant is simply financial assistance provided by one party to another. In this case, financial assistance provided by the International Organization for Migration provided to you as a beneficiary. Now, it can either be conditional or non-conditional. Conditional in the fact that you may be required to fulfill certain requirements before you can gain access to it, or you may be required to fulfill certain requirements after you've been given access to the funds. So in this case for IOM, it is a monitored conditional grant in the fact that we will require certain requirements from you in order to get access to it. The funds are there for you as a participant. It is not going anywhere. However, to understand how committed you are to your business, there are certain requirements that have been listed down for you. So in a way, it is conditional and non-conditional because the funds are already there for you. But in order to show your commitment to your business, to your idea, to yourself, these requirements have been put in place, at least to ensure that you grow in terms of the knowledge that you gain during the coaching and that your business grows even after the program. Now, for the Standing for Youth Initiative cash grant, it will be disbursed in 2 installments. The first installment would be 50% and the remaining 50% will be disbursed in week 10. So for the first installment of the 50%, it will be disbursed commencing week 7, which is the week that you're currently in. And this, of course, will be based upon the fulfillment of the deliverables for week 7. As you fulfill those requirements, then this will be communicated by your coach to the partners, and the partners will then provide a list of all individuals that have fulfilled the requirement for that time to IOM so that the funds can be dispersed. So it is very important that you understand the requirements that should be fulfilled in order for the grant to be released to you from week 7. Similarly, in week 10, you also have the remaining 50% cash grant that will be dispersed. And similarly, it's also upon the fulfillment of the deliverables for week 10. So what are these deliverables? What exactly do you need to fulfill before you get access to to the grant for week 7. Like I mentioned, the funds are already there for you, each and every one of the beneficiaries. The funds are already ready for you. But to show your growth, to show your commitment during these past 7 weeks, these are all the requirements that are needed from you. And as you go through the list of requirements, you will notice that these are things that are actually already useful for your business to grow. These are things that you already require in order to manage your business, even regardless of IOM's involvement. So the first thing is we need 100% attendance throughout week 1 to week 6, including week 7. So you must have attended all your sessions. And if you've been attending the sessions, you will be aware that attendance is being taken. So the reason for that attendance is because it's one of the requirements to disbursing the cash grant. So you need to have been attending all of your sessions. And if you have not attended the sessions, you need to have attended at least a makeup session after the stipulated date. So whether you made time one-on-one with your coach for a follow-up session, this all counts, but you need to have attended all your sessions. And this will be communicated by your coach to the partner and to IOM. You would also need to have completed the draft business model canvas. And this means completing all the boxes that are in the business model canvas. So you need to have been attending your lessons. You need to have your draft business model canvas done as at this point. And you also need a prototype of your idea or your solution. Now, another thing as well that you need to have done by week 7 is to complete your action plan for implementing the business idea. So you need to have a plan to know how exactly the business will be taken from its current stage to the next stage, whether it being an idea, whether it being an existing business or an existing product. You need to have completed your action plan to show the steps that you will take to grow that business to the next level, and hopefully bigger levels, of course. Also, as part of this package, you need to have prepared your financial plan, your budget. So this budget has to be in line with the value for the first installment. So you need to have a budget to say, once I receive this grant, once I receive the first installment, this is what the money will be spent on. And this has to be stipulated in your financial plan. So you need to list out everything that you need to, that you will be spending the money on. And as well as that, you also need to have registered your business and have opened a bank account, a business bank account. So this should not be a personal account. We require a business account, and of course to have your business registered. So all of these requirements are already in your manual, the youth manual that you all have a copy of. So hopefully you have been working towards fulfilling all of this from week 1. And if at any point you don't understand any of these requirements, your coaches are always available to explain to you and guide you through this process. I'm sure they've already been doing that. So hopefully by week 7, you would have already completed all the requirements for the first installment to be initiated. Now, once all these requirements are fulfilled, of course, your coach is the first line of contact. So they will have received all this information, and your coach will in turn share this information with the partners that you have there on the ground. And once all of it has been compiled, the final list will be shared back to IOM, and the disbursement of the first installment will commence from week 7 going. So if you have not fulfilled any of these requirements, please contact your coach, reach out to your coach, or any of the admin officers from the partners that you have, any of the field coordinators that you have on the ground, and they will help you to make sure that you've done everything that you should to get access to the cash grant. As I mentioned, the cash grant is already there for you. All we require is that these details are provided to IOM, and once they're provided, the disbursement will begin. For the second installment, similarly, we need 100% attendance from the first week to the 9th week, and of course the 10th week. You also need to have completed at this point your business model canvas. So this should have been completed and validated by your coaches and the partners. But as at week 7, you already have the draft. So by week 10, you're expected to have completed it and have it validated. You also need to have prepared a 12-month action plan for the implementation of your minimum viable product, a 12-month action plan for it. You also need to have in hand your business development plan and proof of at least one product or service sold. If at the point of the 10th week you don't have anything sold, you must have at least done a mock sale or mock pitching to potential partners. But for more information on these, please reach out to your partners, to your coaches and your field coordinators for more information. You also need to have prepared your financial plan covering the value of the second installment. So at this point, you would have already known what the value for the second installment would be, and the budget and the financial plan that you'll be submitting has to cover the amount of the second installment. Again, everything that is listed on this sheet, on this slide, is actually already in your manual. And this is just a reminder to ensure that you fulfilled all the requirements and that you see this as a checklist. So anything it is that you have not prepared or you don't have complete, please reach out to your coaches again and bring this up to them, because you need all of this submitted so that your cash grant can be released. It doesn't matter how late it is. If you're not able to have it done by week 7, but are able to have it done by week 8, it is still possible to submit all of them and your cash be disbursed. The only downside is it will be disbursed late, which is why from week 7 is when the cash grants will start being disbursed. So this will cater for those that have not been able to finish their paperwork on time, but the cash grant is already there for you and it's accessible. All that is required to initiate the process is to submit all of these documentation. So please remind your coaches if at any point you have any one of the items missing. So we've been mentioning the cash grant. You now know what exactly you need to spend it on, what you need to get access to it. So in this slide, we'll be discussing what you can and cannot spend the cash grant on. So as we mentioned previously, this is to help finance your business and help it grow to another level. If it's an idea, to push it to the market. If it's already established, to help it grow to the next level. If you're a micro business, hopefully push you to becoming small or medium scale business. However, there are things that you can and cannot spend your cash grant on, and this is very important. So you can spend the cash grant on, of course, building and developing or creating or designing things for your business. Not building as in building an entire establishment, but as in creating the item to market, also developing it or designing it. It can also be spent on any activity related to implementing your business or the idea. So any stage within that implementation phase, you can use the money on. You can also use the cash grant on any marketing and sales activities that you might have, promoting it on social media, going out to the radio stations if need be, doing face-to-face sales, printing out posters or flyers or business cards. These are all allowed because they're all working towards helping the business grow. You can also use the grant to hire additional staff if you think you would need a human resource to support you, and also to acquire raw materials. What you cannot spend the cash grant on is any personal belongings or bills, personal bills. So of course you can use the cash grant for bills related to the business, but anything that is related to you personally or your family directly, the cash grant cannot be spent on. So things like clothing or maybe paying school fees. And you are most definitely not allowed to loan the money out, because then, of course, that means you have less money to support your business. So any funding not related to the business, you cannot spend the cash grant on. So something to reflect on at this point. What resources do you need to establish or grow your business? This is something you can think about at this point because it will help you in meeting some of the requirements. So it is important to sit back and understand what exactly do you need to establish your business? What do you need to grow your business? Of course, it is important to recognize the current stage that your business is in which case it will be very easy to understand, to answer the question. So please take some time to ponder and reflect on these questions. What resources do you need to establish or grow your business? How far will this cash grant support you in your business establishment or growth? How will the cash grant be used? So you must have a plan at this point. The success of this whole project, this whole program, really depends on how well and how personally each and every one of you as a participant takes it. Because if every individual business that is registered into this program is successful and grows, it is also a success for the country, the Gambia. Because if each and every one of you has access to the grant and actually grows your business, it means you're self-sufficient, that you're self-employed or otherwise, but it also means that you can now support other individuals. You can now become an employer. You can also employ other individuals. So you would really be creating an ecosystem in the Gambia that will be beneficial for not just you, but your community and the Gambia as a whole. The one thing that we are proud of is how far you as a participant have come in the program, your commitment to the program, and of course, how far you are committed to ensure that your business grows and not only supports you, but supports your family and supports your community. It also means that you are given an opportunity to now be an employer and provide the same support to other individuals. And this is exactly where we are seeing the program work towards. So the program is much bigger than us as individuals. It is now our commitment to the nation. It is our contribution to ourselves and the Gambia, and of course, our community. Thank you for sticking with me throughout this video. And we'll see you in the 10th week as we disperse the funds from now to then. Thank you for applying to the program. Thank you for successfully being selected. And we hope that everything that you have learned, you will also be able to share with your colleagues that are in the same environment or ecosystem as you. Do have a good day. Thank you.